the 2 days after rank reset day, my guy. This is like the most depressing login of the entire month. And what really sucks is I know it's bugged. Apparently rank reset is bugged, so I busted my absolute ass to get to red rank. Just for this to happen. Just for a bug to happen. Like, absolutely beautiful. I love this game. I love this game so much. That's why I keep playing it. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in like 5 days. But I'll keep playing Dead by Daylight. I just keep coming back for more. I literally have Stockholm Syndrome when it comes to this fucking game. Let's fucking log in and see how bad my rank was butchered. MMR cannot come to this game fast enough. And rank reset needs to die. MMR cannot get here fast enough. Because this fucking system has got to go. Especially if it's bugged. It's bugged now, everybody. I could give 2 fucks. There goes my wonderful rank. Rank 4, guys. What is it now? It's bugged, right? Oh, it's the visual bug. I got double bugged, where it's not actually reset. So I will get to look at my lovely red rank one more time. Great. I'll get to have it one more time before it plummets back to 13 or whatever the fuck it was. Or it's gonna do to me now. Okay, but anyway, that's not why we're here, is it? We are here to do that thing that we always do. You know, I used to not watch these things, and I'm really not looking forward to it. In fact, this could be boring as fuck. I heard they go over hitboxes in this one, but you know, it's gonna suck. I already know it's gonna suck, but we are doing the developer live stream. Oh fucking boy! You know, the DBD devs really just need to shut their fucking mouths. Like they give people like me way too much ammunition to just fucking shit on them by doing these live streams, because all their live streams do is always affirm that the game is in a horrible state. And every time they never cease to amaze me, and every time all they do is prove that this game should be in the hands of more competent developers. That's literally all they prove every fucking time they do this shit. And I really wish they wouldn't do that. Alright, boyo. We got our emergency in case. Okay. Alright, so as per usual, when I do developer live streams, let's get my favorite things out, bruh. Is everything good? Everything is good. Okay, hi Harl. So, we got Dead by Daylight livestream. Let's type it in, dude. Dead by Daylight livestream. There it is. We are here to review. Starts in 2 minutes. Okay, so I got a few seconds to get ready. Okay, I have no idea what we're going to be talking about here, but I'm assuming that the comments are going to be negative. Let's look at them. Finally, Trapper can reset. New killer. DC pen. Okay, here we go. Oh, 53-27 is going to be fun. Why are hits being prioritized on the killer side? That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun answer. When they say, don't worry, we're going to work to fix it. That's going to be fun. Oatsvara will be happy. Oh no, the game's like spazzing out. What else is new? Okay, so anyway, as per usual with me, we are going to do the thing we always do. We're going to open the drink. Let's open it up. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so the drink is open. We're gonna open the popcorn. Alright, let's spend an hour and 2 minutes with Dead by Daylight developers. Fix the game. Nerf new killer, that's a meme. Oh, let's have some fun, bro. Let's have some fun. We are here with the Buff Ruin, yeah. Let's see how bad this is, bro. Are they just gonna show the trailer for the new killer? This is the teaser, bro. Who's the new killer? The new killer's ass. That's all you need to know. The new killer is a future nerf for Behavior Interactive's lovely elite survivor favored bozos. Alright, so
was a teaser. I wonder what that could be.
Pretty nice.
I feel teased.
So who we got here? We got Penitis, who you can literally like spell penis if you just take out one letter of his name. So this will be great. Patrick Harris and Remy Villiax are here today. I've never heard of any of these fucking low bozos. I'm sure all these guys are rank 15 survivors, and I'm sure they don't know why the gen speeds need nerfed in this game.
Yeah, chain jump is my favorite.
Yeah. Feels gloomy.
Yep.
Oh right, see, we're making fun of the thing that the internet already said and pointed out about 2 days ago, like 2 days before this, and the internet already made fun of it. So now we look up to date with the memes in the community. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are up to date. Are you guys up to date with the fact that 4 gens can literally pop in 2.5 minutes if the game's played right? Are you up to date on that? Hey, by the way, Identity 5's having Call of the Abyss regional qualifiers right now, and we can't even decide if we can have tournaments. So it's actually really embarrassing. I should have an embarrassing count just somewhere on the side. But like, yeah, like Identity 5 is actually doing really well. Like, shoutouts to Identity 5, Call of the Abyss. It's really hype, dude. Somebody tried to play Bon Bon. It didn't really work. Let's just say that. Somebody played the Embalmer and had like a 3.5 minute kite. On Bon Bon. So yeah, bro. Let's see. Well, yeah. So yeah, talk about the chain chomp.
I'm Peanuts. I'm a community manager. Joining me today are.
I'm Patrick. I'm a game systems designer on Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, you're great.
I'm the technical director. I'm thrilled to be here with you guys.
Embarrassing.
And just a really quick hi to our mods in the chat. Hi.
Hi.
Before we get into things, we got some news. DC penalties have been re-enabled. Would you like to say a couple things about DC penalties?
Yeah, we put on disconnection penalties for people who quit games early.
But that doesn't matter.
Affect people who quit games that are in progress. So if you have any
voluntarily,
yeah, voluntarily, well, or for other reasons, right? Internet going out, whatever, we have to. But if you have issues in the game that involve disconnecting during the load into game, you won't be penalized. So don't worry, we're not being that mean. But,
and we are monitoring.
Yeah, we are monitoring.
It's working fine.
Okay, let's talk about these disconnection penalties. I already released a video about why they don't actually do anything. The DC penalties, in order to analyze if the disconnection penalties fix the issue, you have to first understand why disconnection is an issue in the first place. Disconnection is an issue in Dead by Daylight because it affects people that still remain in the game from actually ranking up, especially the killer. The killer gets fucked really hard by disconnections. Extremely, extremely hard. If one guy prematurely leaves the game, you could just go watch my tryhard stream where somebody disconnected in the first like 10 seconds of the match. I played literally as nice as I could, and I still didn't have enough points to actually rank up. So when you're sitting here with these DC penalties, all they are is a persuasion not to do it. They don't really do anything if they don't do anything, bruh. Because the problems of DC are still there, whereas the survivor can have control over whether or not the killer pips. That's the main issue with disconnections. That's the main issue, and it will always be the main issue. This is why the DC penalties for the survivors aren't doing anything. It's still affecting the killer's overall like performance. And again, MMR, when MMR gets in the game, will hopefully fix this, because if MMR goes the way it should go, a DC should count as a kill according to the MMR. If somebody DCs, that should count as a kill, and everybody's MMR should go up. Same thing for survivors. If the killer disconnects, the game should read that as all survivors are escaping, and then all the survivors' MMR will go up. DCs just can't be fixed by the current system, and hopefully MMR will read it as like a kill for the killer or an escape as for the survivor. And if that's not what it will read it as, I will actively campaign for that to happen. Because the DC issue is still not fixed. All you're getting hit with is a, what I don't even know what they're called. Like a persuasion not to do it. It's a reason for you not to do it. And, like, if the death penalty doesn't work, what makes you think 10 minutes of not being able to queue up is gonna work? Being a deterrent for people DCing. Like, I think that's what it's, a deterrent. Like, they put in a deterrent, and every survivor in the game could disconnect, and I would laugh about it if I got to rank up. If my overall skill points in my rank was being rewarded effectively for making them DC and making them mad enough to where they actually quit the game, if I was being rewarded for that as a killer, I wouldn't give a shit. But the fact is, they control whether or not you pip. And the way that what survivors are doing now, like for the killer, there's not really a lot that you can really do. If the killer disconnects, it's just, yeah, tough. But like, survivors are different from the killer in that survivors have a chance, like, if the killer is losing and wants to just take a 1-pip instead of a DC, like, he just has to play it out. Survivors have a way to leave the game without getting punished for it, and it's called one-hooking yourselves. One-hooking yourself is literally the same thing as a disconnect. It's objectively not as bad as a disconnect, because you still get a little bit of points to your hooking emblem, and if you're a lower rank, you might be able to pip up from that. But when you're a red rank, if somebody one hooks themselves, that's detrimental to your pipping score, which is why I think it's like it doesn't solve anything, because instead of disconnecting, they'll just wait to get down and then one hook themselves. I was playing Ghostface on the Switch the other day. The survivors were literally just goofing around, like, because I started winning and they kept dicking around in lockers for a good 20 seconds before I managed to down all them, and then they just one hook themselves. They have a way to leave the game that can still affect your pip score, and they don't get a penalty. And that's what the smart ones are doing now. When they just want to affect your pip score and make sure you don't do it, there are ways to still do it. You don't have to, bruh. You literally can still be affected by it. So the DC penalties aren't doing anything for the killer. They're not helping anybody. All it's doing is admittedly, it hurts killer more than survivor, because again, survivors still have a way to leave the game early and affect your pip at the same time without getting punished. The killer can't do that. So it objectively hurts the killer more. I mean, what else is new in Dead by Daylight? But like, the DC penalties aren't doing anything. They're not doing their job. That all, like, you still all they put is a deterrent in the game from you DCing. The effects of what a disconnection is are still not being addressed. All you have to do is make it so, like, the killer gets a kill, and you can even throw the survivors a bone too, to make sure they don't depip if somebody disconnects during their match. And then hopefully that can carry over to the MMR system as well. But it's not doing anything, and it's never going to do anything, because nobody at Behavior actually knows what they're doing. But, you know, moving on. I already made a thing about that, but whatever.
A lot of my time looking at charts and checking out how the system is performing and behaving, so keeping an eye out for any kind of issues, but overall seems to be working pretty well, right? So pretty happy with that.
We're glad to have you.
I try my best.
What if I'm on McDonald's Wi-Fi?
If you're on McDonald's Wi-Fi, well, I mean, I would not recommend playing Dead by Daylight on McDonald's Wi-Fi. Spoiler alert. But
McDonald's safe.
Yeah, if you get any kind of disconnections that happen for any reason once you're already in a match, we have to consider those to be proper disconnections, because there's no way for our system, or any system really, to tell the difference between somebody who turned their computer off, who hit Alt F4 and shut the game down, whose internet just vanished, or who just pulled the cable out from the back of their computer. Who knows? They all look the same, so we have to come at that with an even hand. But
I do understand that. So like that's not an issue, at least for me. I saw a Survivor comment that said, "Bring back Medal of Man." Yeah, embarrassing. Killers are too overpowered. Wrong too. No capitalization. Terrible.
Early penalties are pretty gentle, so if that just happens to you once in a while, shouldn't be a big deal. We're really going after the people who habitually disconnect game after game after game.
Right. Second thing.
Buff decides to strike.
Yeah. Some of you are getting reset a little bit further than you should. We're looking into that. Some of you are also not getting reset at all. So if you're not getting reset, try relaunching the game. That should fix it. If it doesn't, be sure to fill out a bug report on the forums and we'll take a look.
Yeah, because I'm going to actively fill out a bug report that tells you I didn't rank reset. Yeah, like, whatever, dude. I know when I try to turn the game off, I'll rank reset, but, you know, it's whatever. I mean, I just mentioned rank reset went way too far. So, that is a bug confirmed.
Next,
bring back Ruin.
PTB for the next chapter. We also have a dev update on the way.
Words are hard.
Yeah, they are really hard.
Alright, so PTB's going up next week for the new awful killer, and then we're getting a developer update next week. That's going to be one interesting read and reaction video courtesy from me, because these developers talk way too much. If they just shut the hell up, we would have like way less things to be mad about.
And that's going to have a bunch of spicy info.
Spicy info.
Final thing is stay tuned till the end. We have a nice surprise for you. Oh, just a little one.
A surprise.
You've never seen them before.
A surprise.
Me neither.
I'm very clueless about these.
Is it a killer buff?
So let's just jump right in.
What about purposely killing yourself on the first hook? Yeah, they're going to ignore that, dude. They're not fixing that.
Q&A stuff. We're going to be going over hitboxes, latency, and what we're doing to sort of get rid of that.
Yep. We're going over hitboxes because apparently these casual survivors don't know what a hitbox is, and I'm sure what's going to be happening here is they're going to go over ways that killers are about to receive more nerfs because, admittedly, when you're a survivor, you can take hits like at least like a few times every, probably once every 2 or 3 games you'll get hit, and the attack will clearly have missed you. But, that can be a bit irritating, but you know what? You have so many advantages as a survivor, get the fuck over it, that's what I say. And odds are on the killer screen, it looks like you got hit. Only, very few times when you're playing as killer, you could actually, determine that you clearly missed somebody. So, it's just a game thing. But, I'm sure they're trying to fix it for the survivors, so I'm sure killers' hitboxes are about to be nerfed, and I'm sure they're going to discuss why. And that's just going to be another thing to bitch about. Rework Ruin, nerf...
Hitboxes.
A very technical chat today.
Oh yeah.
Very technical chat.
But
This is when they're gonna pretend they do this all the time. They pretend they're way better and they know way more about the game than we do. That's what they're gonna say. They're gonna say it's too technical for you to understand, and they're gonna do the same shit that they always do. But they say they're about to say what they're going to announce is that they're going to try to fix the hitboxes to actually make it look like you're taking a hit. And basically, the only way that they're gonna be able to do that without pissing anybody off is to nerf killer hitboxes. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna nerf killer hitboxes. I bet my life on it. And it's not starting up. Come on, stream. Let's go.
Boxes, I say, in a completely unscripted manner. What do they look like?
You mean capsules?
Capsules?
Well, okay.
I thought you said boxes. Now I'm confused.
Yeah. Let me clarify a bit of context.
Give me my drink, bruh.
We'll get into physics a bit, so it's gonna get physical. You're okay with that?
I'm okay with physical.
In fact, you're in luck because I actually have a capsule down in my pants. I think at the moment.
This is getting upsetting very quickly.
You want to feel it?
Oh, okay, yeah.
See. So this is a capsule.
That's quite a nice capsule you've got.
Yeah, sturdy.
Well,
reliable.
Gets the job done.
Buffly.
It works. So in the game terminology, we say capsule, we mean this. It's like a cylinder with hemispheres on both
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I just want to point something out I keep seeing in the chat. I keep seeing bring back Medal of Man in the chat. I don't think you people understand why Medal of Man was such a broken perk and that it could not stay. Medal of Man was so toxic and it was so cancer, it absolutely couldn't stay in the game. I do not know why anybody would actively campaign to bring back Medal of Man. That's not a rank 15 survivor. I've gone over Medal of Man extensively on this channel. I've made like 2 analysis videos on that. I keep talking about Medal of Man, and whenever I bring up unhealthy game design and unhealthy perks for the game, it's usually the first one I bring up, even before Decisive Strike. Medal of Man was so busted. And like, what Medal of Man goes to show is the distinctions between the rank. If somebody is actively campaigning to bring back Medal of Man, they're very bad at the game. If you don't understand, I feel like even top-level survivors low-key know why Medal of Man can't come back. Medal of Man can't come back. It's literally that simple. It was an unhealthy perk. Sponging a hit at the red ranks is absolutely not a healthy concept. It was only honest at rank 15, where survivors were getting hit a lot more because they were fucking terrible. So, like, actively campaigning to bring back Medal of Man shows that you have no skill. It shows that you don't know how to kite. It shows that you don't know what you're doing and don't know how to play. Never give in to that. Never, like, always call those people out for being terrible.
Defense, so it's very useful. It's like a generic form that allows a lot of things, like, for example, I'm going to show something on screen. So you're actually going to show what's the capsule on the killer actually in the game. So you see it's a bit larger than the character.
Okay.
So this is the collision capsule. This is what is used for collision against wall, against other players.
Okay, so we got the collision capsule that they're going over right now. So this collision capsule being bigger than the killer itself, that's actually fucking terrible. Because this is when the killer can, like, this is why, especially back in the old days in 2016, the term fat shaming, which is like legit a term in this game, like when a killer couldn't go through something because that capsule was bigger than they look. It's still bigger than the killer, guys. What more do you want? It already puts killer at a disadvantage.
We can also now show you the same, but the capsule on the survivor.
Okay.
So you see it's slightly shorter. It's about the same size overall, but slightly shorter.
Yeah.
We can show them side by side if we
so like both of these capsules are just bigger than the characters.
So you have a good idea of what they are.
I love the...
Is that how other games do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
A bonding moment, if you will.
They tend to be like that when you're not playing the character in game. We can also show something else. So we have another capsule that's hidden inside this one. It's called the slashable zone, so we can show it. It's slightly smaller. We see it here inside the editor. This is in fact the hidden zoo that we work on when we develop features. So you see the capsule on Claudette here. This is really the zone that you are going to attack when you try to hit her. So this is what you would call the hitbox. But in fact, that generic term covers pretty much all of them. There's also a third type of hitbox that we'll show a bit later. But for now...
her head's like sticking out of it.
They are slightly different size. It's to prevent people from, let's say, stacking on top of each other. Let's say you go and you fall down on another character. You want to look realistic.
Yeah, if you look at the shape of the capsule, right, you've got the rounded top, you've also got the rounded bottom. And with this,
I don't think this is how other games do it, but I'm sure it saves them money. I'm sure this is a really... I am, like, entirely convinced this is a very cheap way of doing it. I can't confirm that because I don't know much about this shit. But my guess here is that this is a way that saves them money. And that's why you see, like, it not working half the time and going wrong. Like, the game trash, yeah. So you see the game being so trash because... like, this is probably a very archaic, very cheap way of doing it, and it shows in game half the time.
Top of one another, they kind of, it's really hard.
And as much as they try to, like, explain this as being very complicated, I'm sure this is, like, extremely simple. I'm sure, I don't know this for sure, but, like, knowing these developers and how asinine they are and how awful they actually are, like, I'm sure this is a very archaic, very simple, very cheap way of designing character hitboxes in a video game. But, and when you're playing a game like this that, like, debatably needs like a more expensive way of doing it, like the cheapness of it can show in some of the interactions that take place between killer and survivor.
So the idea behind a capsule shape like this, both on the top and the bottom, prevents human pyramids or stacking of them.
Yeah, because Ochito was exploiting the shit out of that. When it... Oh, goodness gracious.
Please send your best ones.
Okay, your best human pyramids. I want to see them. Yeah.
There's also another interesting things that you can learn about the actual collision capsules on the characters. We made a thing where in the basement you get this staircase that you can go down. So if the killer stands right in the middle, he's pretty fat. Like he can block you. Like
you can block the whole thing. There's not enough space on either side of the killer's capsule for the survivor capsules to scooch by, right?
Exactly. So we did this small change in the code to make it so that if you try to glide past, your capsule will actually slightly shrink, like in a sort of.
So like basically body blocking is the collision of these capsules on both sides. So it's like these capsules being big. Like the more that I think about it, and the more I hear them explain it, like these capsules being big, actually, it can help both sides depending on the situation. It's not necessarily a good or bad thing for either side. It depends on the situation. If the killer's blocking a pallet, then it helps killer. If the survivor's blocking the killer from getting the last hit when they're running toward the exit gate, then it helps survivor. So like, it's just a situational thing that doesn't inherently favor one side or the other. It just depends on what the situation.
Linear fashion, it will shrink and you'll be able to just zip by like a fish in the sea, or a fish in butter.
A buttery
fish.
Stop fucking making jokes.
Not our strong suit here, but we're the tech guys, right? Not the metaphor guys. So
right. And if you want to know a bit like why is it a capsule that we use in the game, like, we need to remember that the game started as a purely melee attack game and there were no projectile. So it's the reason why we did that, in a sense that it's optimal, it works, it does what we want.
You see, I don't believe them. I really think that was a fucking just cheap way to make the game and save money. But the game debatably needs a new system to do it.
It's also more efficient, right?
It's efficient.
It's a lot more efficient. It's also very standard. This is not like something that's unique to Dead by Daylight.
No. It has been used for centuries. Like even like pallet swap plumbers would use similar technique.
Exactly. Simple stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say like they're saying it's not unique to DVD, but I swear I really think this is just a cheap way of doing it. A lot of independent games probably use this model, which is what this game like was. I'm sure for the budget that they had, they worked with what they had.
So that's how a hitbox works. How do you hit somebody?
Well, when you hit somebody, there's an extra step to this, right? You've got we showed you the hitbox, the as we call it, the slashable zone for where the killer does the attack.
Yeah. The receiving end.
Yes, the receiving end, but the other end of that is the killer doing the actual swing.
Okay.
The way we handle that is we draw basically a cone shape in front.
We can show it actually.
Yeah, actually we have a
cone
shape that we can show. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the two collision capsules of the characters. The collision capsule of the survivor there is that's the collision capsule, right?
That's the collision capsule, so it's not showing what you would hit.
Yeah, but
it's this red and this yellow cone shape.
It's close enough, right? This is pretty representative of what we're talking about here. So the idea here is when you look at those cones coming off of the killer, those are cones that are used to measure whether or not that attack is landing. And the rule is really simple. If your red cone overlaps the hitbox or the slashable zone of the survivor, that's a hit.
Yeah.
That's a hit.
That's it.
But tell me, Pat.
That's simple enough.
Legible now. What happens if you have a character that has a short hand or short weapon?
Well, the length of the weapon of our characters doesn't change the size of that hit capsule or that hit cone that's coming off. So
nor should it. Nor should it. Because like characters with a knife, like Ghostface or Legion, or would be put at a severe disadvantage. Or like Clown. Lord knows Clown doesn't need another nerf. But like, and then characters with a sword like Oni or like a chainsaw like Billy and Leatherface and Spirit, well, like they would have like abnormal hitboxes. Keeping it the same is definitely the way to go right now. maybe in the future we could fix it and we could make the killers have different hitboxes, but the game is not in a state right now where killers need this. Killers need buffs really bad, and to individualize the hitboxes is just not a thing we should be focused on right now. Again, if the game becomes more balanced in the future, I would be okay with Freddy Krueger having a smaller hitbox than a weaker character like Leatherface. But you know, because Freddy's a stronger character and he has more palette play. It would kind of make Freddy's more reliant on his power. It's an interesting idea, but right now it's the last thing we need to be concerned about. The things that concern me right now are the fact that survivors can get 4 generators done in 2.5 minutes if they play the game right. That's what concerns me right now. Again, maybe if we kept going down the road we were going in last year, where killers were getting buff after buff after buff after buff, and then at late 2019 it just stopped. That's what happened. That was the pattern. We were doing so well in 2019, and then September happened, and all the momentum we were building with the buffs we were getting just died. And then September, October, November, December, we just got survivor buff after survivor buff after survivor buff, and that killer nerf survivor. It just kept I don't know what the hell we were doing. I don't know what the hell we're still doing. And so they're explaining this now. I really feel like they're gonna they're gonna say something here that's gonna nerf killer. I feel like that's what they're doing.
Killers in our game, the basic attacks and the lunging attacks all have the same range on that capsule. We actually we've done an update to the game, I think last summer, that made it so characters with shorter weapons, I'm thinking Legion with his knife, right? He does attacks that now reach a little bit further.
Rose,
reaches out there to try to match the size.
I get you.
Capsule. Guys with bigger weapons, we actually will even do things where we kind of maybe pull it back a teensy bit so that it tries to line up as much as possible with that capsule, or with that cone, so that you have a better concept of how far your attacks go, and to make it not look silly, I missed by a foot, but I still hit the guy. That's silly, and we don't like it. And so we've done those kinds of changes in order to make it more consistent.
And shall we explain a bit why there was a red one and a yellow one?
Yeah,
there's something called
I was assuming that was the lunge, but
it's been called the auto aim, right? Auto aim in the game, but really we are naming it internally the aim dressing.
The aim.
So what it does is that this red box is just a bit inside. The yellow cone is like a wafer thin.
Yeah, it's you can see on the screen there. It's not terribly further ahead than the red one.
And that purpose is to actually see if you would hit someone and slightly turn you and make you look like you would hit the guy. So it's just a sort of dressing on top to make your animation a bit feeling more connected to the hit you're gonna get.
Exactly. It's not going to give you a hit that you wouldn't have gotten anyways.
That's
the purpose of this aim dressing, as we're calling it right now, is when you do land a hit, especially if somebody's kind of at the edge of the cone.
This is all bullshit. This is all bullshit. My main problem with this is this is something that doesn't need addressed. This is if you don't understand how a hitbox works, you're not a good gamer anyway. Hitboxes are standard in video games. This is how this shit works, dude. You have your person has a hurt box, so the attack has a hitbox, and a thing that collides with the hurt box, it hits you. This is so fucking standard, it's crazy. We're literally we have a development stream that we are talking to 15-year-olds about how hitboxes work. This is literally basic as fuck. They go into a little specifics about their cone and collision and stuff, and but the problem is this is all fucking standard. This is standard as shit. This is not a necessary thing to have a live stream about. We need to have more live streams why the fuck can 4 gens pop in 2.5 minutes. That's what we need to have a live stream about. That's why we need to have a discussion. And we need to have a guy on that live stream that is paid to sort through the fucking chat and bring up killer main points. And filter out survivor main points. Because seriously, when you're a rank 15 survivor and you're saying things in the chat bring back Medal of Man, that should be absolutely discarded. The person sitting in the chair looking at this chat should have a fine grasp of trickle-down balancing, and they should know that, hey, this person saying bring back Medal of Man, deduction, rank 15. not listening to you, not bringing your comment into the conversation.
Fringe cases on the edge. We do things like rotate the camera and move your character closer after the fact. The hit has already effectively been decided at that point, and now we're kind of scooching the camera so that you can see the hit land. Right. Because it would be very disorienting, and it is disorienting and confusing when you're playing the game and you get a hit, but you don't see it on the screen, right? You swing your weapon, and the survivor juked a little bit to the side, and then all the blood splatter and all the cool stuff happens off to your side, and you go, what? Did I hit him? Did I not hit him? It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell after the big auditory cue of you hit the guy, the scream, and the little bit. Like, despite having like 15 visual cues, despite having like 15 visual and auditory cues, it's hard to tell if you hit somebody or not.
This is what scooch that camera just a wee bit.
Like, this is embarrassing. This is for baby killers.
That survivor get hit, you get that kind of hit feedback. Right. But it does not give you hits. Yeah, there's no free hits here. We're not actually we're not helping you. We're just dressing it up and making it look pretty so that you have a good time.
There you go. So just to be 100% clear, if somebody's not on my screen and I attack, I'm not going to hit them.
You're not going to hit them.
The only rule that we use for these is that cone, that hit cone, does it touch the hitbox of the survivor? That's it. Yes or no.
Okay.
If the answer is no, then you don't get a hit. If the answer is yes, then you do get a hit. And in that case where the answer is yes, we'll rotate the camera just a wee bit to let you see that you got that hit. That's the key difference to make it.
The next question is, why do I
Identity 5
way through a window?
Right, so that's
a different topic.
Yeah, that is a different topic.
We're about to address Windows.
The movement.
Do we have how many notes? Somebody gave me notes.
Let's talk about notes.
I mean, that's where we are. Yeah. We are at that section of the notes.
Okay, so let's explain what is it. So
he made an amazing transition.
It was so seamless.
We bungled it.
These guys can't stop talking on top of each other.
So it's latency.
Embarrassing.
So to rewind and try to save this terrible bungle that we've made here is, why do you feel like you've been hit from too far away in the game?
Yeah.
This isn't actually a hitbox issue because, again, like I said, the logic there is very, very simple. Did the survivor's hitbox touch the killer's swing cone? Yes or no? The problem here is latency. And latency...
What is it?
To really break it down in the most basic forms...
It's latency, bro.
Same definitions. When you're playing Dead by Daylight on your PC or console, I'm going to say PC, but console guys, please don't be offended. I just don't want to... Yeah, machine, right? A device.
Balance your game, fuckers.
When you're playing it on your local device, you click a button to perform an action. Say, make an attack, move in a direction, literally anything you want.
Open a locker.
Open a locker, check, kill a survivor, hook a survivor, whatever it is. It actually takes time, not just for your machine to read that button input, which is pretty small. Like, realistically, that is a very, very small amount of time.
It's inside one frame. Yeah. The game processes the input, and then...
Yeah.
Like, what are they talking about?
Way below, in most cases, way below any sort of human perception. But then, that message takes time.
What they're going over right now is, like, extremely basic shit. Like... Mr. Lars, what they're going over right now is extremely, extremely basic shit that is like in every single game. Your character has a hurt box. The hit box comes out. If it touches the hurt box, you take a hit. That's literally. It took them 16 minutes to say that. They haven't addressed anything relevant at all. Like, this is seriously for like the rank 15 babies. Like, there's nothing of substance here. There's nothing. There's nothing of substance here so far. All they're going over is his hitboxes. Like, I'm sitting here bored out of my mind trying to actually come up with something to say. The only things I'm getting are from the chat, where I keep saying nerf Oni over and over again. But, like, I keep saying nerf Oni and bring back Medal of Man. And the chat. Like, the chat's full of fucking baby survivors. Because I think killer mains know not to watch this junk. Because it's junk, this is what it is. There's nothing here. Yeah, they're completely ignorant to what's going on at the high levels of this game. Because they don't care. They're all rank 15 survivors. Like, Identity 5 is sitting here having Call of the Abyss 3 South Asia qualifiers, right? They just had it like 2 days ago, and we're having a live stream. Like, their last live stream was about who's going to qualify for Call of the Abyss from Southeast Asia. Our live streams are about what a hitbox is. How does a survivor take a hit in this game? Like it's a joke, dude, and you wonder why we're not getting anywhere. It's terrible.
Time to go to the game server and have the game server process it.
Latency,
now,
bro.
The amount of time is variable. We're
talking about latency
by all sorts of things, the quality of your internet connection.
But it's like, I'll tell you why I'm still kind of worried, because they're talking about hitboxes. Like, I feel like what they're gonna do is make it smaller. Like, I feel like we're gonna have some kind of killer nerf here. I feel like that's what we're getting, because like there's a question that I'm worried about, because somebody put timestamps for everything. There's a question at fucking 53:28 that says, why are hits being prioritized on the killer side? That's the question I'm worried about. Well, yeah, not only should every perk be counterable, but every location should have a mind game. Every perk should have a mind game, and every location should have a mind game. There is nothing in this game that should be without a counter of some sort. Nothing in this game should be without some kind of counterplay. And like on the survivor side, there's you can't like just pressure gens is not an acceptable argument anymore. Like 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 4 generators can fly in this game. Just pressure gens is not cutting it. It's not cutting it. Like if this game wants to survive, the killers need serious assistance. Just pressure gens coming from a rank 10 means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing. Do different character like the Q&A is like ridiculous, because like if these people understand hitboxes, we wouldn't be going over any of this.
The quality of your connection, not just to your local internet, but to the server that you're playing with.
That's what you can measure with the utilities like ping, for example. You get that round trip, and it's the latency times 2, because it's the time it takes to reach a server, and then it needs to go back to...
Like, they're talking about fucking latency, bro.
Exactly.
That's the latency.
The general terminology is latency usually refers to a one-direction trip, so that's my message going from my machine getting to the server, and then ping is...
Like, they're seriously, I'm looking at the timestamps, they're gonna go over latency for like another 8 minutes. Like you delay it, and like things are slightly delayed, and that's why you might like fuck it. I'm gonna skip this shit to the Q&A. Why are I want to like okay, I'm just gonna start picking and choosing. Why can survivors sometimes fall immediately after being shocked? How the pallet window hits work. Let's skip to 41. I'm going to skip to 41:20 to go over pallets.
No, what an odd bug.
Yeah. Next question is from Wild Luke. Can you please explain how pallet/window hits work? Like the timing, the distance of the lunge, the conditions, etc.
Yes, I think it's somewhat connected to the interrupt system that we...
Yeah, it's very similar to the interrupt system. When players, which do we have I can't remember the order of all of our questions. It's almost like I have them written down here. Yeah, so
the latency,
the way
bro.
Pallets and windows work in terms of hits is very similar, right? It's performed based off of the same logic that we were just talking about. That cone from the killer gets projected out, and does it hit that hitbox of the survivor? When it comes to windows, again, that latency issue that we're talking about exacerbates the perception. You know, remember the videos that we showed you earlier where the survivor saw himself having been through the window quite far versus the killer who saw him on the inside of the window? The synchronization of those elements is something that, yeah, exactly. There's the video right there of the survivor getting hit. The intention here, of course, is that if the survivor got through the vault soon enough, be it a vault through a window or a vault over a pallet, that they won't get hit if they're on the other side.
And you see, this is why, like, this is the most hilarious thing. This is the most hilarious thing. They're going over this shit. Like, yeah, on the killer screen, it looks like that's taking a hit. Oh, rip, you were heading to work. I'll probably still be on, bro. For the truth, of course. But yeah, like what's going on here is like when you're getting hit as a survivor and you take a hit, like on the you're probably getting hit, and like they have to explain this to like the rank 20s that don't know any better.
But if they're still close enough to the window, you know, the killers can reach through the window. That cone that we talked about reaches through the window, can get you on the other side, right?
And that window's not like a force field. You can't actually hit through that.
No, it's not a magical force field, right? You can't swing through it.
Yeah, intentionally.
Yeah, exactly. So really, I think that the rules for around how pallets and windows work, they're a logical extension of the hitbox stuff that we've been talking about. And
okay, so like it's just the game's broken, is what they're saying. Okay, let's talk about why it's being prioritized in the killer's favor, because this is the thing I'm worried about. Why does healing have such a big hitbox? Why do grabs often get cancelled without a hit? Why are some hits being prioritized on the killer side?
Why do you guys think it's better to prioritize hits on the killer side over the survivor side?
Well, that's actually pretty straightforward. It's because the survivor is the one, or sorry, the killer, we're prioritizing on the killer side, right? Not on the survivor side.
Yeah, that's what
So, all these character names, I'm getting confused already.
Look at the picture.
Yeah, I know. I need the picture.
Hitboxes.
Which one's which? Okay. So, the reason why
we shouldn't be discussing hitboxes. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of time, and it doesn't cover the real problems with the game.
Prioritize on the killer side is because the killer is the one doing the swing. It's in order to maintain that sense of responsiveness that we were talking about, we prioritize the killer's feeling of getting that attack off and hitting, and that's where it starts from. But like we said, even though we're prioritizing it on the killer side, we still need to make sure it looks and feels fair for the survivor. Right now, not necessarily as fair for the survivor as we want.
One of the solution we can think of, and we are working.
So here come the solutions.
Having the
please don't nerf killers, hitboxes.
Somewhat doing the actual acknowledge of the hit. So he's going to be again, as we said earlier, the mediator deciding if your hit works. So it's not only the killer would decide; it's actually a mix.
Exactly.
So it's a hybrid system, and we are tending to try to have something that would make the best of both worlds, so to be fair and also feel responsive. Yeah.
Okay. Next one is from Stabs.
Okay.
If there's no auto aim, then why are there times where the game will prioritize hitting an object over the survivor?
Okay, let's see.
That might be like.
Let's see what the surprise is. It's Trapper. 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 You can reset traps now. They buffed the Trapper. They gave Trapper one of the 10 buffs he needs. They gave Trapper one of the 10 buffs he needs, bruh. Good job, behavior. 1 for 10 buffs for the Trapper. Okay, now the thing I'm still worried about with this buff is that he's not carrying a trap in this little like video. So okay, that saves a bit of time, admittedly, but how much time is it actually gonna save? At least we can do that, bro. At least we can do that. So that means disarming is not as big of a deal anymore. Big whoop-de shit. Whatever, dude. Fuck this game. The devs have said nothing interesting, and they once again ignore the real issues with the game. We had a 1 hour and 2 minute stream about hitboxes, while Identity 5 is streaming their qualifiers to who gets into their major tournament in China, where there's like $1 million on the line. You can see why this game is trash. Alright, there's nothing worth going over here. GG, we're fucking done here.